Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm good, Sin. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, thank you. First of all, I thank you for taking your time to join at this Zoom meeting.
Sure.
As I said earlier, my main focus is just to elevate our local businesses like electricians. One way is interviewing him on this podcast. So
Absolutely.
maybe I think we're gonna just get started. If there is another question, we can just do it at the end. Sounds good.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Okay, thank you so much. First question. So, what inspired you to start Silent Spark Electric?
Yeah, it's a good question. Personally, I've always kind of had the heart of an entrepreneur. When I was 18, my first job, I actually worked for these guys. What I would say they were serial entrepreneurs. So they would literally create a project or some kind of product, start a company, sell it, move on to the next one. And I remember one of them actually took me along and he would actually talk to me about my plans for the future, help me kind of organize ideas. And it was at that moment I told myself, one day I'm going to be my own boss. So at the
Wow.
time, I was trying to do something a little different. Wanted to open a gym, but through the years, when I got into the trades, I recognized one day, the best way that I can work for myself in this way would be get a license. And, I was able to do that. And it led me to being able to start Silent Spark Electric.
Wow, that sounds great. So, yeah, most people like they learn from working like a job. Then from that they gain experience. Then they have that passion of serving other people, and that sounds very great. So, what differentiates you from other electricians?
So we have a model. If you look at our business card, you look at our website, our social media, you'll see it everywhere. It's honest, safe, and efficient. So I'm not going to sit here and say that all electricians are bad or I'm the greatest electrician out there or I'm the only one who cares about safety. But one thing that makes us different is when someone hires us, they're hiring someone who actually cares. Me personally, I have a very sensitive Bible-based conscience. So when it comes to being honest with my pricing, the way I do my work, I can't sleep at night if I don't do that. So I'm always striving to make sure I'm making sure the work is safe. I'm making sure the customer feels comfortable. And I feel like that's something that we put a lot of hard work to not just say it, but to make sure the customer feels it. So that's a daily work that we're engaging in, trying to make sure they feel like it's a different and unique experience they can't get anywhere else.
Yeah, that sounds very great. And I think that's why I looked at your Google business profile and you have some amazing reviews.
Yeah,
So
we
I
have
think
good.
one of
Yeah,
the reasons is that you do care for your clients. And actually, that also means that if you do care for your clients, even if it comes to like marketing, that one really helps,
yeah,
especially like something like Google actually prioritizes a business that takes care for their clients. That's where, if you are doing some good job for your client, that one amplifies your marketing. So,
yeah.
congratulations for that.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
What is the recent project that you are most proud of?
Yeah, I was thinking about this when I was looking at it, and I feel like anytime you have a service-based business and you actually take a step back and think about how is this benefiting people, that's something
Yes.
you can, and one thing that comes off the top is I recently had an opportunity to actually work at it's a larger tire car repair establishment that we did some work for, and we went there and we actually upgraded 70 lights. They had a pitch black parking lot at nighttime; you couldn't see anything, so we were able to add
Wow.
some light outside, and it became real bright. And it was just kind of cool to see because during the time I was there, I got pretty cool with the mechanics and to see how they actually felt like work was easier for them. They could see now, they felt like they had a new place. Even though we just upgraded the lights, it just gave them some kind of feeling of accomplishment. So anytime we're able to do work and we see it actually affect somebody, make somebody more comfortable or make someone happier, it's something that we're proud of. Or even just an instance where you go to someone's home and they're afraid because they smell something burning or they saw a spark. When you fix that, now they have peace of mind. You just gave them peace of mind. Now they can go to sleep. So this is it's something that you get to see the results and the rewards every day, and it's something to be proud of.
Yeah, that sounds great. Upgrading 70 lights, that's something that is a great achievement. Congratulations for helping that, and that one really, really matters. What is the biggest challenge you have faced as a business owner?
So it's funny, actually, I would say my biggest challenge has they're starting to become one of my biggest strengths, and that's actually consistency. Uh, I think anyone who's in business for some time knows that it's not always the big things that matter, right? It's actually doing the small things consistently, time after time, and that requires patience, right? It's just like
Yes.
if you somehow have a product and maybe a celebrity endorses it, maybe you go viral, but in any other case, it's just going to take time, right? And you have to be patient. So for me, in the beginning, that was the hardest part. I trying to get work, trying to get a constant flow of work, not knowing where the next job is coming from. It can be difficult, but as you're consistent, you keep doing the same thing, you start to see results. And it's become part of my strength now because it's helped me to become more self-disciplined and patient. So that's helped me in my health, my marriage, my faith, and all my other responsibilities. That consistency is just the most important thing, and it can be a challenge, but it's worth fighting.
Yeah, that sounds great, because if you are starting any business, you need to have some focus. Uh, you just need also to trust the process. And that's what I understand with consistency. Because, of course, challenges will be there. There is nothing that will just be smooth. So sometimes you'll have a clans, sometimes you'll not have clans. So that one makes sense. Now, assuming I am in maybe in my house or in my building, and maybe my lights goes off and I need like an electrician. So what are some of the things I should look for advice towards electrician?
Yeah, no, it's a good question, and it is something that customers should be aware of what they should look for, right? You don't want to just choose anybody. So number one is credentials. Unfortunately, in our field, there are a lot of guys running around who know a little electrical work, so they'll say they're electricians because maybe they can replace a light or an outlet. But it's important to keep in mind that electricity is actually very intricate. You might be able to go on YouTube and see how to replace something small, right? But that's if everything works right. That's if everything's just in place like it should be. But what about when it's not? What about when somebody else did something wrong or there's some kind of grounding issue there, right? That's when it becomes a matter of life or death almost. It's a safety matter. So seeing the credentials, making sure they're actually licensed, because credentials are actually proof that someone has the education and experience to properly perform the job you hired them for. That's why we have credentials. That's why you have doctors who go to school and things like that. So it's the same with the trades. Make sure they have credentials. And I would say the other thing is really just look at the company values. If you go to a company's website, for example, usually they'll have listed, hey, this is what we stand for. This is what we try to do. So you want to make sure when you're dealing with them, you can identify that. It's actually up to the customer to see signs of that. And if you don't, then there might be a problem. But if you're seeing that they're measuring up to that in some way, whether it's how they treat you, whether it's how they respond to certain questions you have, or even the quality of work that you see, or even the reviews, it's going to put you in a position to know that you can trust them. But it does take research, and it's something that customers should do the research to make sure you're getting safe work.
Yeah, that sounds great. Especially like for me, when I go to their website, maybe if I can start with the reviews, and maybe if they have some video testimonials, that one will be even better. And as you said that, I think every field should have something like a license. They should be certified. So that is very great to hear. And that your company is fully licensed and so on. And you have some great reviews. That's great. And even that one can help with stuff like SEO marketing and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe how long have you been doing this, Silent Spark Electric?
So the company itself, we're in year two officially doing it full time. The company was established in 2023, August of 2023. But
Okay.
as far as being in the field, I've been in the field for close to a decade, strictly almost on electrical. Even before that, I was doing other things associated with the trades. So, I've been through the apprenticeship program, gone through getting the journeyman's, gone through getting the master's, really had experience in all types, construction, the commercial, the fire alarm, the residential. So we've been doing this for some time, and it's nice to finally be able to give the real expression to the customers to see the quality and experience we have.
Yeah, it's very surprising that you have only been here for 2 years, but so far the kind of work you are doing is amazing,
I appreciate
based
it.
on the reviews that you already have. So that is 2 years. So where do you see yourself then in the next 5 years?
Yeah, so that's a question I ask myself a lot. I don't see that I have a dream to be all over the world and be the biggest company in the world. But I think for me, it would be nice to be able to create jobs for other people, and have a company with a good, healthy culture and environment where people actually can come to work and be happy. So that's on the side of the employees. I realize because I've been in this position too, a lot of times people think they hate their job when they actually just hate the culture or the environment that's there. And if people are able to be happy at work, then they're going to work hard and try to also reflect those values. So that's one thing. I want to be able to, create some jobs and things like that. And you think about a place like Chick-fil-A. You know that if I go to Chick-fil-A in Virginia, I go to one in Maryland, I go to one in DC, wherever you go, you're going to get the same kind of service. And to create something like that where all of our customers know if you hire Silent Spark Electric, it's going to be someone you can trust. The technicians are going to be professional. They're going to be clean, and the work they're going to do, they're all going to be super serious about making sure it's safe. Then people are going to want to hire us. So just creating some kind of culture and systems in place that help us to be a good brand in the community, and people want to work here and people want to hire us.
Yeah, that sounds very amazing. It is surprising that everyone has a goal of creating employment. That's also one of my goals, and I'm great that we are sharing the same. And also, it's all about making people happy, caring for them. Because anything about business, if you don't make people happy, then that's not a good goal, right?
Yeah.
I think you said you started this business. Now it's almost 2 years. Of
Yeah.
course, we have had challenges. We have had some good days. So, assuming someone wants to start a similar business, especially local service business like
Mm-hmm.
plumbing, electrical, landscaping, and so on. So, what advice would you give to him or her?
Yeah. Well, a few things I would tell them. Number one, do it. Obviously, doesn't mean just jump out there and quit your job tomorrow, right? You want to be wise, so you want to plan. You want to understand the cost because it does take a lot of time. So it's going to affect you financially, physically, mentally, spiritually. There's a cost, so count the cost. But don't be afraid because it's possible. A lot of people will make it seem like it's not possible because maybe they feel like they can't do it, but it's really a reflection of maybe some insecurities they might have. So that's the first thing. Secondly, I would say just remember knowledge is super important. There's a book called The E-Myth, and in that book, Michael Gerber talks about how business is not about luck or a good move, right? Essentially, it's about what you know. So learning the process is learning what to do. So read, get a mentor if you can, take advice, but be careful who you take advice from because when I first started, I took advice from a lot of the wrong people. And I would notice that whenever I spoke to them, I would feel like I was doubting myself. And I've learned if you're taking advice from someone, make sure it's someone that you respect what they've done with their business, right? They should have a proven method you can see so that you know what they're saying actually works. So experience is huge. And finally, just be consistent. Don't give up. A lot of people give up in the first year because it looks like it's not working out. And oftentimes you're just around the corner from things working out. So just keep going and keep moving. And it's possible. Everyone can do it if they take the effort and the time to do it.
Yeah, exactly. So the other advice I can add, maybe you can
Mm-hmm.
just also challenge it. Someone said that like if you are working, maybe you can make sure that you have a saving for the next 6 months or a year before you
Mm-hmm.
start your business. So that because if you are starting a business, you'll have challenges, of course.
Mm-hmm.
So you can have some saving for some time that you can use as you build this business. Then you have talked about trusting the process.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't trust the process, it means that you are limiting yourself. I
That's right.
also like the idea of a mentor. And you also need to learn from someone whom you trust. Like,
Exactly.
for example, you have people like they preach, but they don't do what they preach.
Yeah.
So like if you are an electrician and you learn from someone like Sim, that one makes sense because he's already doing what he's saying. So you
Mm-hmm.
need to be doing that and so on. So Sin, I maybe if you have something else to add, you are free to add. Uh, anything we might have left out, maybe.
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely, no. I mean, I think those are the main things I would say. I think business is it's not for everyone. That's why we have some people who are employers and we have some people who are employees. We need both. So if it's not for you, it's not for you. But if it's something that you do want to do, I can say, it has helped me to have a greater level of freedom, even though I'm still working to reach a lot of goals. It has made my life a lot more rich in many ways. So, I would just encourage people, educate yourself. If you're in the trades, especially, education is so important because we know the work, right? Doing the actual electrical work that's the easy part. We've been doing this, but the business side is not something
Yeah,
we do in the trade. So you have to take the time to educate yourself. There's so many books and so many podcasts that I listen to, and so many people I try to surround myself with nowadays. Just do the effort. That time that you're going to take is actually going to be worth it. In a mental way, but also financial way. It's going to benefit you.
exactly. And something like learning can never stop. So we
Yeah.
need to continue learning and we can improve on that.
Yes.
Then you are based in Maryland, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is great. Thank you very much for your time. I think we covered a lot.
Yeah. Thanks so much for having me. It was a good time. And, definitely hope to continue our connection, get to work together.
Exactly. Exactly. And if you are in Maryland, make sure to check out Silent Spark Electric. They are doing a great work. I really, really recommend you to check them out.